Well, it's great to see you all today. President Macron and I have had a chance to spend some time together. We went to private dinner last night with our wives, and just came to tell you that we're leaving. But it's wonderful to have him here. All right, we're each going to call on two people, a total of two people, a total of four all told. And the first questioner is going to be from AFP, Miss End.
And others will enable us to very much clarify all of this without any difficulty. So I'm going home confident, but as well lucid as to what remains to be done on the European side, which is a good thing.
I'm confident. It's my answer. Okay, who's the next question? Got my list here. Is it my turn to call on someone? Right? Okay, how about NPR, Tom Marquise? Thank you, folks. All right.
So do you have a message to the protesters in China you spoke about Iran?
And I especially enjoyed our time that Jill and I and Brigitte had last night in our visit. First time I've gone to dinner, a private dinner in Washington in a long, long time. And but I had the protection of the French government with me. But all kidding aside.
President Biden, do the freight rail workers deserve more than 1 day of paid sick leave, like millions of Americans have? And if so, why didn't you negotiate for that when you were helping to negotiate that contract that you now want Congress to impose?
I love you guys. I negotiated a contract no one else could negotiate. The only thing that was left out was whether or not it was paid leave. You know, I've been trying to get paid leave, not just for rail workers, for everybody. But that other team, they're called the Republicans, they voted against it. They said we couldn't do it. We're one of the few nations in the world that don't have paid leave for our workers. And so what we're doing is we can't afford to have, and by the way, in the meantime, they got a 45% increase in salary, et cetera. There's a lot of good things that happen in that. And in fact, this shuts down over the question of 1 to 5 paid, or 7 or 9, whatever the numbers would be negotiated of paid leave days. It's going to be.
Do you think there's a risk of generating divisions?
I'll answer the last question since I didn't hear any of it. I didn't understand a word of it, so I'll answer it.
I will take care of it.
No, look, the United States makes no apology, and I make no apology since I wrote it for the legislation you're talking about. But there are occasions when you write a massive piece of legislation, and that has almost $368 billion for the largest investment in climate change of all of history. And so there's obviously going to be glitches in it and need to reconcile changes. And so merci, my friend, and I look forward to continue to work with you. And as I used to say in the body I worked on a long time in the United States Senate, the floor is yours.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, dear Joe, thank you ever so much for these words.
And we had a detailed discussion of the Inflation Reduction Act. I know none of you are curious about that, but we did talk about that a good deal. The United States and Europe share the goal of making bold investments in clean energy to meet the challenges of the climate crisis and to build the industries of the future, including batteries and green hydrogen. We agreed to discuss practical steps to coordinate and align our approaches so that we can strengthen and secure the supply chains, manufacturing, and innovation on both sides of the Atlantic. We ask our teams to follow up on this part as ongoing U.S.-EU consultation continues, because we can work out some of the differences that exist. I'm confident.